We today are in a crisis in our economy, I believe, and I know you've been studying this. We have a lot of problems. One of our major problems in this country, is management and their ability to compete. With exceptions, we have terrible management in this country. The system is dysfunctional. I can't tell you how bad our boards are, with exceptions, of course. I sit on a lot of boards. I don't have to watch Saturday Night Live anymore. I just sit at the board meetings. I will tell you that it's a sad commentary that we have an inability to compete. You can blame unions to some extent, but the real problem is that boards, there's a symbiotic relationship between boards and CEOs today. And as a result, there is no way to hold these guys accountable except somebody like myself comes along or some other person who is really willing to challenge them. But you have to go through contortions. There's no corporate democracy. So you have to go to contortions to even challenge these guys. And the way, and I'll digress a few minutes or a minute, the way a CEO is elected, with exceptions, is again a sad commentary. The way you get to be a CEO, but I'm going to tell you that maybe this is changing and you should think about this. And don't get into the mold that I'm telling you most CEOs get into to get elected. I call it anti-Darwinian. I call it anti-survival of the fittest when you see these guys who run these companies today, for the most part, with a number of exceptions. The guy is the fraternity president in college. And I'm not telling you, I'm sure there's some of you out there that are fraternity presidents, and I'm not telling you all of them are bad guys. But I remember in college, and the fraternity president's the kind of guy that is sort of likable guy, the guy that is always at the frat house. With me, it was an eating club when I went to college. But he'd always be there, you know, and if you went over there, you wondered if he ever studied, because whenever you were feeling down, whenever you wanted to shoot a little pool, have a drink, your girlfriend didn't show up or something, you'd go over, and he was there. He was always there. How you doing, Carl? What's going on? You know, your girlfriend didn't come, you can't trust any of them, usual conversation. You go, oh, that's great, yeah, thank you. You like the guy, play a little pool, have a drink with him, and obviously, when it came time to get elected to be the frat president or the eating club president, you'd say, great, you know, and you vote for him. Now, this guy goes on, you know, he goes on into the world of business. And he's a likable guy, maybe not too bright, maybe even a buffoon, but likable, and also a good political guy. Because, you know, there was always competition to be the head of the club, and he's good political, so he has all these qualifications. He doesn't make waves. He understands being a survivor, and he moves up the corporate ladder. And this is what we have today. They move up the corporate ladder, don't make waves, not a threat to the guy above them, and they just keep moving up and up. Never had many ideas, but just was there. So this doesn't help our corporations very much. It doesn't help us be competitive. It's the wrong people for this job today in our companies. But he just keeps moving up and moving up and moving up the ladder, right? And the board really doesn't care, because the boards are all just getting there. When you go to a board meeting, the first thing you get your check, you look at it, you see a bunch of graphs they show you, the light is pretty bad, a lot of red lines, green lines, yellow lines, all going up. There's always something going up. You got some line going up, no matter how bad the company is. Always lines. And I used to sit there. I mean, I'm colorblind. I don't even understand what they got on lines. I don't think anybody does. And you know, they always have that. So that's what goes on at your board meeting. And the CEO shows it, very smiling. And then they say, well, sometimes you say, well, George, you know, the CEO, well, how come we're losing all this money and this red line is going up? He said, well, you see, that's the line that we estimate in 1982. If you do the EBITDA from the oh, good. You're doing a good job. You know, where's dinner tonight, guys? You know, they're going to the boondoggle. We've got theater tickets, great. Okay, here's your check, right? And that's why you have the problem in derivatives today, and you have all these headaches, because the guys don't know how to literally run the company. So anyway, this guy, who's the CEO candidate, keeps moving up and up and up the ladder. He's a survivor. So as a survivor, he's not going to ever have a number two guy underneath him that's smarter than him. He doesn't want a guy that can challenge him, because God forbid somebody on the board should meet the number two guy. And he's moving up and up the ladder till he becomes number two to the CEO. And now he's number two to the CEO. And, you know, sooner or later the CEO retires, right? The CEO puts him there because the CEO realized this guy is not a challenge because a little dumber than the CEO. So now he becomes the CEO. And now he finds his number two guy a little dumber than him. Well, sooner or later, we're going to be run by morons, by definition. And we are not far from that now. It's a sad commentary on our country. So when you go out there, you can be one or two kinds of guys moving ahead. Now, a lot of you are real smart kids, and I see you getting 4 averages, and God, it's pretty impressive to me. And you can be a guy that thinks for yourself, and I think the world and our corporations are now waiting for that. There are two kinds of guys, as I say. There are CEOs that really do think for themselves, that are innovative, that go against the trend. And I will say that, I've had a few, shall we say, tiffs with Bennett LeBeau. We've had a few altercations. But Bennett LeBeau is one of the guys that you should try to be like, because Bennett LeBeau never put up with that stuff. Bennett and I would talk about it, and Bennett would always go in there and always do what when he was a CEO and when he was doing it. Now I don't know quite what he does, but I would tell you that Bennett, and I say this not because we're friends, because we've had a lot of different altercations or whatever, but I always respected him because at least he would go in there and he would go against the trend, he'd go against the board, he'd go against the people there, and that is what you should seek to be when you go out into the world. You should try to stand up against the trend, even though it might, literally, it might cost your job, it might cost your promotion. But in the end, think for yourself, be innovative, try. I'm not telling you go in and tell them what to do. You got to be careful about that, obviously. But if you have ideas, go slam the table. Don't worry about it. Come up with your own imagination, because that's what this country needs.
Well, I think that activists aren't all the same. There are many different types and many different kinds. And from my way of looking at it, over the years, one of the reasons I came is Andrew called me up and said, they all talk about short-termists, and you've held all of these stocks so long, you ought to come and talk about it at the Deal Book. And I generally don't do this, but I made a list. I'll just read it very quickly because nobody wants to hear me read anything. But you look at the companies that we bought over the years. I'm surprised myself about the long-termism that we do. So ACF, I own 31 years. I hate to admit that I have these stocks this long. 31 years. And then I looked at American Railcar Industries, 23 years. Federal Mogul, PSC Metals, 17 years. Federal Mogul, 14 years. Viscase, 14 years. Exo, 14 years. Vector, 13 years. American Casino, 11 years. National Energy, 11 years. West Point, 11. And it goes on and on. We, and many activists, are not short-term oriented. I can't say all of them are. It depends. If you have partnerships and people want to get returns, I guess you have to be somewhat short-term oriented. But the real money that I made over the years is holding companies for 7, 8, 9 years and keeping them. I've looked back. We bought casinos, and you got to buy them when nobody wants them, really. That's the real secret. You buy things. It sounds very simple, but it's very hard to do. When everybody hates it, you buy them. And then when everybody wants them, you sell it to them. And that's what we do. And we go in and we clean up a company. There are many companies in the country that are very well run, but many are terribly run. And you don't have corporate democracy. You still don't. So you have people that run companies that aren't bad people, but shouldn't be running the companies. They're way over their heads. Or they have different agendas. So if you think about it, this is corporate America. If your uncle left you a vineyard, a beautiful vineyard, beautiful apple orchards, beautiful farm, they left you the vineyard, say, congratulations, that's great, you're going to be on the vineyard, you're going to enjoy yourself, have all this money rolling in, and then 8 months later you see your friend, I see Andrew, I said, what happened, how you doing? Terrible, terrible. I said, well, what's the matter? He said, oh, the vineyard's okay, it's nice, but the manager, the guy that manages it, he plays golf all day. He has a plane that he rents for himself and his parties for his girlfriends. And he really doesn't do any work. And he sells little pieces here and there. And he won't give me any money. I said, what are you, crazy? Get the police and kick him off. But that's corporate America for a lot of it. You go to corporations, and this is how they act, and they believe that they own these companies, and they don't really care. And the reason I made so much money over the years is that you hold these people accountable. And it's amazing. And some of these boards are good. You know, the boards are usually buddies with the CEO, but a lot of them listen to us after you get there for a year or two. And the reasons we make all this money, not I'm a brilliant stock picker. I don't think anybody is. I think that we get in, we find that there's problems, and it doesn't always work. And it doesn't work you have to wait many years at times. But the problem with our country, and I think we're going to pay a price for it sooner than we think, is that many of our companies are not run well. Now, that is not to say that many of the companies we own don't have good managers, and that there are many other good managers and good boards around. But if you ask me the future and what we think here, that we're walking into a minefield with what's going on with the Fed. I mean, we can go on and on about this, but I think we got problems.